So here are the quirkiest critters roaming the U.S. Be careful, this might scare you. Now, Alabama. Mixing the words alligator and snapping turtle can be quite interesting, but quite real. Here you have thunder turtle, I like to call Chompzilla. These turtles can weigh up to 175 pounds, and said if you get bit by one of these, the only way to save your life by it letting go, and the only way is if it hears thunder. So you better know how to impersonate thunder, or else move out of Alabama, unless you're trying to get a spot on Jackass or Fear Factor. Arizona. Here lives the camel spider, I call arachnocamel. They are said to resemble a scorpion and a spider. So instead of arachnocamel or camel spider, maybe they should be called scorpy spider or arachnid crunch or even scorpy bug. Anyways, if you mess or bother one of these creatures, it can be serious. In reality, though, they don't actually want to bite you, but like being in your shade. They are actually not venomous at all. But if it bites you, it would be incredibly painful and leave serious bruising. So there you go. Once again, Jackass or Fear Factor contestants. Moving on. California. Excuse me, Bernard. You are a banana slug, but look like a wet turd. The interesting feature of the banana slug is its exposed lung by a small hole in the back of his head. Banana slugs must be wet at all times, and they ensure wetness even in dry weather by secreting homemade moisturizer, a protective layer of insulated mucus, which abstracts other slugs to come boom boom. Not for your face, ladies. Now I must go and hot sting my face off. Now, Connecticut. Star-nosed moles. They eat faster than other mammals on Earth. They devour their meal in less than 0.2 of a second. Their hideous noses contains 100,000 nerve fibers, contained into a space smaller than your fingertip. They also smell underwater. Moles blow bubbles into the water, then re-inhale them to catch a whiff of prey nearby. So that's how that mole got away from plankton so fast. Well, anyway, moving on. Georgia, one-toed ephemium. Even though it looks like it has 3 toes or 3 legs with 1 toe each, well, it's the first water snake or eel that can come get you on land, as it seems. It lacks external gills, and although it has gill slits, it breathes by periodically lifting its nose out of the mud or water. Imagine getting chased by a giant one of these creatures. Well, moving on. And now Hawaii, the blind snake, the world's tiniest snake. This snake was introduced in the 1980s, likely in the potting soil from the Philippines. They survive the islands because they are known to be parthenogenic. Their unfertilized eggs can hatch into new female clones. They eat termites and ants. So if your home is being attacked by these creatures, it might be time for a trip to Hawaii. Now moving on to Illinois, the fishing spider. And no, not a spider that grabs a fishing pole and bait, but does submerge itself for more than 30 minutes to fish for small aquatic dwellers like tadpoles. This creature is venomous and can grow slightly wider than a human adult's palm. The hairs on this fishing spider's body trap air bubbles, which they use to breathe underwater while they stalk for their next meal. Oh, and females lay eggs on a silken mat, which they wrap into a ball and carry in their jaws until she finds a good spot for them to hatch. And moving on. Yes, Indiana, hellbenders. They are 2 foot long and flattened. And that for no wonder they are hellbenders. They are dwindling at a rapid rate, though, thanks to degrading water quality, loss of habitat, and accidental fishing, and fatal human interactions. Even rumor has it that in the 1970s, they became famous fish fry, in which if you ate at Harrison County Fish Fry, you more than likely to have had diarrhea. Now, let's move on. Kentucky, scorpion fly, which I call Sir Stingafly or Scorpiofly McBuzz. They have a tail that looks like a stinger of a scorpion, but they don't sting. Their tail isn't a tail at all, actually, but for mating. The females have been known to kill their lovers, but to bribe her not to kill them, they will offer a dead insect or a wad of saliva. Wait, they are just like humans. Well, wouldn't you know? Moving on. Maine, tardigrade, which I call catapork or piggy pillar, for they look like a caterpillar and pig mixed. They can outlive humans by 10 billion years because sturdy water bears can survive extreme conditions like dehydration, freezing, exposure to vacuum of space, irradiation by cryptobiosis to shut down their metabolism. Imagine getting eaten inside out by one of these. Hurry up, moving on. Massachusetts, hickory horn devil. Like, isn't it enough having a regular devil? Now we have this? Well, the horns don't sting. Thank God for that. They molt 5 times, becoming bright green the 5th time. Before population, a larva expels its guts and changes color to turquoise before going underground. When they emerge as moths, they have several reduced mouths. They don't feed and live for only about a week. Moving on. Nevada, the cat-faced spider, which can be identified by the presence of 2 bumps on the top of its abdomen. Those bumps for ears of the cat face. It sits with its head towards the ground, so the kitty appears to be upside down most of the time. Creepy. I'm not a cat lover, and I'm allergic to cats, so Nevada isn't a good place for me to live. Now let's move on. Well, New Hampshire, buffalo treehopper, earned its name because it appears to have horns and a tail like a bison. But to me, looks a spider and grasshopper mix, which I call a spider hopper or grass spider. Anyways, doesn't seem to cause any harm. They are just creepy to look at. So let's move on. Well, New York, Seneca white deer, world's largest herd of white deer. Another name for ghost deer, but not albinos. To me, they look like a deer and a pig mix, so I like to call them deerham or piglet prancer. They lack all pigmentation in their hair. Overall, they are so weird, they're actually kind of cute. Next, North Carolina, glass lizard, often mistaken for snakes. Yes, they are lizards who are legless, so I call them no-leg Larry or legless Larry. The name refers to the tendency of their tails to easily break into several pieces like glass when they drop their tails to avoid being captured or eaten. Who would want to eat that? Well, there are people, I guess. Moving on. Oh, the great Ohio, lamprey, which I call Suckzilla or Suction Cut Sam or Bloodsucker Bob. They attach jawless, disc-shaped mouths to fish in rivers and streams and suck their blood. They also use their gnarly mouths to suction cup and move stones to form breeding pits. I'm from Ohio, but now you see why I live in California now. Moving on. Tennessee, cave salamander, slimy pale pink creature with a pale belly and bright red feathery external gills, was introduced in 1995. To me, they are called Naked Sally or Nude Newt, for they look like they are bare naked or skinless. They live in streams, found inside caves and sinkholes. Moving on. Virginia, assassin bug. Well, bugs creep me out enough without having a name like assassin bug, man. They generally flare upward their butts into the air in scary fangs that can inflict an intense bite on humans, earning their name by moving nimbly and rapidly when on the hunt. Their front legs are powerful, holding down insects, while a strong beak peeks out from its hiding place under the head and repeatedly stabbing it like a serial killer. When the insect is dead, it sucks out all its insides. Cruelty, man. Well, moving on. Washington, geoducks. They look more like overlarge sperms, which I call spermy duckling. But they're actually clams, so I'll call them bivalve baby makers or spermy clams. The valves stay open in adult geoducks because the body and siphons are too large to retract. It can stretch its neck 24 inches from its body. They position themselves about 3 feet in the sand and then hang out there for about 100 years. So, moving on. And last but not least, West Virginia, pus caterpillar. The name is disgusting, but looks so cute though. But don't be fooled by the long brown silky hairs of the pus caterpillar. They hide hollow poisonous spines that causes intense pain, swelling, itchy, rash, anxiety, fever, muscle cramps, swollen glands, and vomiting. All of which is similar to sleeping with someone who is dirty. They are labeled the most poisonous caterpillars in the United States. Makes me wonder, will they become poisonous butterflies? I hope not. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. To me, the weirdest creatures found in the U.S. Hope you enjoyed and learned about some of these creatures, which can be very dangerous. And keep yourself safe at all times and stay alert. This is Stephanie McCoffin, now paranoid. Gotta go crawl in a bubble. First gotta make one. No time. Give me a taser and a can of Raid. Please. Somebody. Goodbye.